Picture this: a revolving door spinning in the lobby of a high-rise office building in downtown Manhattan. The kind of door that's always in motion, people flowing in and out like the tide. It's in this ordinary setting that something extraordinary happened between two strangers who, until that moment, had been ships passing in the night. This is the story of Alex and Jamie, and how a simple revolving door changed everything. It was a Tuesday morning in September, that perfect time of year when summer heat gives way to autumn crispness. Alex had been rushing to a client meeting, portfolio clutched tightly under one arm, coffee balanced precariously in the other hand. As a graphic designer at a small but respected firm, these pitch meetings were everything: a chance to impress, to create, to prove himself. Alex was the kind of person who noticed details others missed: the way light fell across a room, the subtle differences in shades of blue, the typography on restaurant menus that others barely glanced at. But for all his attention to visual detail, Alex had a tendency to get lost in his own head, missing the human connections happening around him. Jamie, on the other hand, seemed to move through the world with an easy confidence that Alex had always envied in others. A marketing executive with a quick wit and quicker smile, Jamie had a way of making everyone feel like the most interesting person in the room. That morning, Jamie was heading to the same building for a completely different meeting, running precisely 3 minutes behind schedule. Not enough to be truly late, but just enough to create that pleasant urgency that made life feel more vibrant. Let me explain why this setting matters so much to our story. In the hustle of city life, we rarely pause to consider how architecture shapes our interactions. Revolving doors are designed for efficiency, not connection. They keep the climate-controlled air inside, the weather outside, and people moving at a steady pace. They're not meant for conversation or meaningful glances or life-changing encounters. And yet, sometimes the most utilitarian objects become the stage for our most human moments. As Alex approached the revolving door, mind racing through the presentation he was about to give, he failed to notice Jamie approaching from the other side. Both reached for the door at precisely the same moment, their hands landing on the metal push bar within seconds of each other. Alex looked up, startled, and that's when their eyes met for the first time. Alex's deep brown meeting Jamie's striking hazel. There was a moment of hesitation, that universal pause when strangers assess each other and decide how to proceed. "After you," Alex offered with a small smile, stepping back slightly. "We could share," Jamie suggested with a playful raise of an eyebrow. "Save some energy, help the environment. Very sustainable door usage." Alex laughed, surprised by the casual humor. "Environmentally friendly door rotation. I think that deserves extra credit somewhere." And so they entered together, an impromptu door-sharing arrangement between strangers. The space was tight. Revolving doors aren't designed for two adults with bags and coffee cups, but neither seemed to mind the proximity. As they pushed forward, Jamie asked, "Which floor?" 17th, Alex replied. "Pitching to Horizon Media." "No way. I'm meeting with Westfield Group on 22. Good luck with your pitch." "Thanks, you too," Alex said, feeling an unexpected warmth at this brief connection. What happened next would later be debated between them. Who was responsible? Whose timing was off? What exactly caused the mechanical hiccup? The door, which had been spinning smoothly, suddenly jerked and slowed, the momentum throwing them slightly off balance. Alex's portfolio slipped, and in trying to catch it, he bumped against Jamie, who instinctively reached out to steady them both. The coffee cup tipped, though miraculously didn't spill, and in the chaos of the moment, they found themselves pressed together, the revolving door now completely stuck. "I think we broke it," Jamie said, laughter bubbling up. Corporate America's first door-sharing casualty. Alex, who would normally be mortified by such a situation, found himself laughing too. "Do you think they'll bill us for repairs?" Split 50-50. The absurdity of their predicament only grew as they realized they were truly stuck. Not in danger, but definitely in a predicament. The door had jammed in such a way that they were caught between inside and outside, visible to people on both sides, but separated by glass. A small audience began to gather, some offering suggestions, others simply enjoying the morning entertainment. "Well," Jamie said, shifting slightly to create a bit more space, "since we might be here a while, I'm Jamie. Jamie Chun." "Alex Mercer," Alex replied, suddenly very aware of how close they were standing. Nice to meet you. Though I would have preferred less dramatic circumstances. Are you kidding? This is going to make a great story. How did you two meet? Oh, we got trapped in a revolving door and became a tourist attraction. There was something about Jamie's ability to find humor in the situation that put Alex at ease. As they waited for building maintenance to come to their rescue, they chatted about their work, their morning routines, the bizarre experience of being the center of attention while essentially being in a glass cage. Minutes passed, and what should have been an awkward nightmare somehow transformed into something else entirely. The maintenance team was working from the outside, tools in hand, providing updates through the glass. Just a few more minutes, they mouthed, though Alex was starting to wonder if he minded the delay at all. Your coffee must be getting cold, Jamie noted, nodding toward the cup Alex was still somehow managing to hold. At this point, I'm just proud I haven't spilled it on either of us, Alex admitted. Would have made this whole experience much stickier. Jamie laughed again, and there was something about the sound, open, genuine, unrestrained, that made Alex's heart beat a little faster. As the door gave a sudden jerk, they were thrown off balance again, this time with Jamie nearly falling against Alex. Their faces were inches apart, Jamie's laugh still hanging in the air between them. What happened next wasn't planned by either of them. It was like the world slowed down, the busy lobby fading away until all that existed was this small glass space and the two of them inside it. Jamie's laugh softened, eyes flicking down to Alex's lips and then back up again, a question in them. And Alex, who had never been impulsive a day in his life, found himself answering by closing the distance between them. The kiss was gentle at first, tentative, the kind of kiss that asks permission even as it's happening. Then Jamie responded, and tentative gave way to certain. In the middle of a revolving door, surrounded by strangers, they kissed as the door gave another lurch and began to move again, spinning them slowly back into the world. When they broke apart, both slightly breathless, the door was moving normally again. They completed their rotation and stepped out into the lobby, suddenly aware of the small crowd that had gathered. There were a few knowing smiles, some polite averted gazes, and one enthusiastic security guard who gave them a thumbs up. Well, Jamie said, cheeks flushed but voice steady. That was unexpected. Alex, who could feel his own face burning, nodded. Very unexpected. But not unwelcome. Definitely not unwelcome, Jamie confirmed with a smile. Though I usually at least know someone's coffee order before kissing them in public. Oat milk latte, extra shot, Alex offered, holding up the now lukewarm cup as evidence. Your turn. Black cold brew, no matter the season, Jamie replied. Now we're practically dating. The maintenance workers were finishing up with the door, and around them, the lobby was returning to its normal rhythm. Alex glanced at his watch and realized with a start that he was now dangerously close to being late for his meeting. I have to go, he said, genuine regret in his voice. My pitch is in 10 minutes. Jamie nodded. Me too. But maybe. There was a moment of hesitation, and Alex could see the same question he was feeling reflected in Jamie's eyes. Was this just a strange, wonderful moment that would become an anecdote, or could it be something more? Your phone, Alex said suddenly, holding out his hand. I'll put my number in. Jamie handed over the phone with a smile. Bold move, Alex Mercer. I'm not usually, Alex admitted, typing in his contact information. But getting stuck in a revolving door and kissing a stranger has apparently given me a new perspective. They parted ways with a promise to text later, both heading to their respective meetings with slightly disheveled appearances and unexpectedly lightened moods. Alex's presentation went surprisingly well. There was something about having just done something completely out of character that made pitching a design concept seem far less intimidating. And as he spoke about brand identity and visual storytelling, a part of his mind kept returning to that moment in the revolving door, the way time had seemed to both stop and speed up simultaneously. True to his word, Jamie texted that afternoon. How was your pitch? Door-related trauma didn't affect your performance, I hope. Alex smiled at his phone. Actually went really well. Maybe pre-meeting door incidents should be my new lucky ritual. Their texts continued throughout the week, witty exchanges that gradually revealed more about each other. Jamie was half Chinese, half Irish, loved spicy food, and had a deathly fear of heights despite living on the 24th floor. Alex was a first-generation Colombian American, collected vintage cameras he never used, and could recite the entire opening monologue of The Twilight Zone from memory. They agreed to meet for dinner the following Friday. A proper date. No revolving doors required. Alex arrived at the restaurant 15 minutes early, nervousness making him punctual to a fault. He'd changed outfits 3 times before settling on dark jeans and a blue button-down that a friend once said brought out his eyes. He wondered if it was possible to feel like you knew someone after just one bizarre meeting and a week of text messages. Jamie arrived right on time, walking into the restaurant with that same easy confidence Alex remembered, wearing a crisp white shirt and a smile that made Alex's stomach flip. There was a moment of awkwardness. How do you greet someone you've kissed, but barely know? Before Jamie leaned in and kissed Alex's cheek, solving the dilemma with characteristic directness. No spinning doors to navigate tonight, Jamie said as they were seated. Think we can manage without the drama? I don't know, Alex replied with a smile. The drama did work out pretty well for us. Dinner was better than Alex could have hoped. The initial nervousness faded quickly, replaced by the same easy connection they'd found in their text exchanges. Jamie talked about growing up in a bilingual household, the challenges of explaining puns to parents who spoke different native languages. Alex shared stories about his family's restaurant and how watching his mother cook had taught him to see beauty in everyday things. That's what I love about design, Alex explained, gesturing with his fork. It's about finding the extraordinary in the ordinary, making people notice what's been in front of them all along. Jamie nodded. Marketing is similar in some ways. It's about storytelling, making connections, helping people see why something matters. As the evening progressed, Alex found himself relaxing completely, the way he usually only did around people he'd known for years. There was something about Jamie that made him feel both seen and accepted, a rare combination that he hadn't realized he'd been missing. After dinner, they walked through the city, neither quite ready for the evening to end. It was one of those perfect New York nights where the air feels electric with possibility. They passed a building with a revolving door, and both stopped, looking at each other with matching grins. Should we? Jamie asked, eyes sparkling with mischief. Absolutely not, Alex laughed. Once was embarrassing enough. But even as he protested, he found himself being gently pulled toward the door. The building was closed for the evening, the lobby dark, but the revolving door still moved when pushed. They entered together, deliberately this time, no coffee cups or portfolios to juggle. See? Much more dignified when you plan it, Jamie said as they spun slowly through the door and back out onto the street. I don't know, Alex replied, feeling bold enough to reach for Jamie's hand. I kind of like the spontaneity of the first time. Jamie's fingers interlaced with his, warm and certain. The first time was perfect. Their second kiss happened on Alex's doorstep at the end of that night. No audience this time. No mechanical malfunction. Just the two of them choosing each other deliberately. It was better than the first, Alex thought, because this time it wasn't surprise or adrenaline. It was choice. In the weeks that followed, they fell into each other's lives with surprising ease. Jamie came to Alex's apartment for dinner and commented on the artwork Alex had created but never displayed properly. You should show these, Jamie insisted, examining a series of cityscape photographs Alex had taken. They're beautiful. Alex met Jamie's friends at a birthday celebration and was welcomed warmly into their circle. Finally, one of Jamie's oldest friends said after several drinks, someone who appreciates Jamie's terrible puns as much as Jamie does. They weren't without challenges. Jamie's family, while accepting, expressed concerns about the speed of their relationship. You've only known him how long? Jamie's mother asked during a video call that Alex wasn't supposed to overhear. Just be careful, honey. Remember what happened with Taylor. Alex had his own insecurities to contend with. Jamie was outgoing, successful, seemed to navigate the world with an ease Alex had never mastered. There were moments when he wondered what Jamie saw in him, whether this connection that felt so significant could possibly be as important to someone who seemed to make connections so effortlessly. Their first real argument happened 2 months in, over something that seemed trivial on the surface but revealed deeper insecurities. Jamie had invited Alex to a work function, an important networking event with clients. At the last minute, Alex backed out, claiming a deadline, when the truth was he felt intimidated by the prospect of meeting Jamie's colleagues and clients. You could have just told me you were nervous, Jamie said later, hurt evident in their voice. instead of making me look like I don't have a real relationship. Is that what you're worried about? Alex shot back. How it looks to your coworkers. That's not fair, and you know it, Jamie replied. I'm worried about why you don't trust me enough to tell me the truth. The argument cleared the air, forcing them to address the unspoken fears they'd both been harboring. Alex admitted his insecurities about fitting into Jamie's world. Jamie confessed to worries that Alex might eventually find their personality too overwhelming, too much. I've been told I'm a lot before, Jamie explained quietly. That I come on too strong, that I should tone myself down. I don't want you toned down, Alex said firmly. I love your enthusiasm. It's what drew me to you in the first place. It was the first time either of them had used the word love, even indirectly. It hung in the air between them, significant but not yet acknowledged directly. The resolution of that conflict brought them closer, establishing a foundation of honesty that strengthened their relationship. Alex did attend the next work function, discovering that his fears had been largely unfounded. Jamie's colleagues were welcoming, and seeing Jamie in a professional setting, confident, articulate, but still with that underlying warmth, only deepened Alex's admiration. 6 months after the revolving door incident, they decided to move in together. It was Jamie who suggested it, but Alex who found the apartment, a space with large windows and natural light that made Jamie's plants thrive and gave Alex the perfect setting for his photography. The process of combining their lives, deciding whose furniture to keep, establishing new routines, learning each other's daily habits, was both challenging and rewarding. I never knew you were such a morning person, Alex groaned one Saturday as Jamie bounced out of bed at 7 a.m. And I never knew anyone could take so long in the shower, Jamie countered, pressing a coffee mug into Alex's hands. But I'm adapting. They were adapting, both of them, creating something new together while preserving the individual qualities that had attracted them to each other in the first place. Jamie encouraged Alex to submit his photography to a local gallery, celebrating wildly when 2 of his pieces were accepted. Alex supported Jamie through a challenging career transition, providing a steady presence during weeks of uncertainty. On their 1-year anniversary, they returned to the building where they'd first met. The security guard recognized them immediately. The revolving door couple, he exclaimed with genuine delight. You two still together? That makes my day. They took a spin through the door for old time's sake, this time moving smoothly through without incident. As they emerged on the other side, Jamie took Alex's hand. You know, I've been thinking about that day a lot lately. Me too, Alex admitted. It's strange to think how differently things could have gone if either of us had been a few minutes earlier or later, or if the door hadn't malfunctioned, Jamie added, or if you hadn't been brave enough to kiss me. If I recall correctly, you were sending some very clear signals, Alex laughed. Maybe, Jamie conceded with a smile, but you still had to take the chance. They stood in the lobby, hands linked, surrounded by the rush of people going about their days, none of them aware of the significance this ordinary space held for the 2 people standing quietly in their midst. I'm glad I took that chance, Alex said softly. Best decision I ever made. Jamie's response was to pull Alex into another kiss. 1 year and countless memories after their first. Around them, the revolving door continued its endless rotation, people moving in and out, most of them unaware that sometimes, in the most ordinary places, life can change in a single spin. As they walked out of the building together, Alex couldn't help but reflect on how much had changed in a year. He had always thought of himself as someone who planned carefully, who avoided risks and spontaneity. Jamie had shown him another way to live, not abandoning caution entirely, but making room for the unexpected joys that come from saying yes instead of no, from stepping into revolving doors with strangers who might become the most important person in your world. And Jamie, who had always moved through life with confidence, but sometimes struggled to let people see beneath the surface, had found in Alex someone who appreciated both the vibrant exterior and the quieter, more vulnerable spaces within. They balanced each other, challenged each other, made each other more fully themselves. What are you thinking about? Jamie asked as they walked hand in hand toward their favorite cafe. About doors, Alex replied, and how sometimes getting stuck is the best way to move forward. Jamie squeezed his hand. Very philosophical. And slightly cheesy. You love it, Alex said with certainty. I do. Jamie agreed. and they both knew they were talking about much more than Alex's metaphors. I really do. The revolving door had been just the beginning. Ahead of them stretched a lifetime of doors to walk through together, some revolving, some not, but all of them leading to new adventures they would face side by side. And if they occasionally got stuck along the way, well, they'd already discovered that being stuck in the right company could turn out to be the greatest stroke of luck imaginable. Total _char_count, 18,749.